Hi, today I'm going to show you how to create some virtual backgrounds that you can use to support your virtual instruction and to provide visual supports to your students. I'm only able to show you this in Zoom today because unfortunately the version or the features in Google Meets that we have right now don't allow for this, but we might be able to work that out. But let's give this a go and see how you might want to use it as far as changing your virtual background to provide visual supports in Zoom meetings. So as you can see, I'm in my office and I am right now showing the background of my office, and I don't really want to do that. And plus I like to use my background as an instructional tool. So I'm going to go down to my video and choose a virtual background. And I have already uploaded some virtual backgrounds that I created, and we'll go over how to do that in just a minute. But I selected a virtual background that has some visual supports that would show our student what the day is going to be like during our synchronous instruction, or maybe during an asynchronous time, how your videos are going to walk them through their day. So first we're going to do some reading, and then we're going to do some discussion about what we read. We're going to write about what we read, and then we're going to take a break. And everybody knows that our kids like to work for those breaks, as do we all. So here is my first screen, and then we're going to move on. So I'm just going to really quickly go down and choose a different virtual background because this is where we're going to start today. We're going to start with reading. So I'm going to have my reading highlighted. I'm going to go ahead and teach my reading lesson, perhaps read the story to my student, and then I'm going to quickly switch my virtual background again to the next thing on my schedule. And now we're in discussion time. So here we go in discussion. I'm going to talk about what I read and learn some things, what the students understood about what was read, etc., and work that lesson through. And then I can go to my next lesson, which is going to be the next thing on the schedule, which in this case, I don't happen to have that in my folder, but I can add it from my folder because I did create it before. So I'm going to go into my picture folder where my background demo is and go to number 3, which is write, and insert it and select it. And now I'm on the right. So we're going to have our write. This is where we're at. This is what we're going to be doing. And then lastly, I can go for that I need a break, that I am ready to finish this activity. And I'm going to go ahead and take my break. And there, that's highlighted now. Another real neat one that I created was the one with a whole core board behind me. And so I can go there and pick the core board and have that behind me. Maybe I'm going to point to some buttons that I was going to use in a conversation. I might need to move out of the way in order to do that. But you can see if we were working, reading a story, and maybe the word out was in the story, I could indicate out. We're going out, we're going out, we're going in, indicate that on my core board so that the student might be able to follow along with their core board and give some information. So again, I have to give credit to the Boardmaker folks. They gave a little presentation the other day, and I thought it was really useful. Thought it might really support you in your instruction, especially if you are doing this in Zoom and maybe recording it for your lessons that you're going to put into Schoology or something. Then you can go ahead and use these backgrounds to support your progression through instruction. I'm going to look at ways to do it in the Google Meets, but this is one thing that you can do. Let me show you that all you have to do is create your board in Boardmaker, and you can see that on this particular board, I made my buttons on the side, and I inserted a whiteboard behind me just to be, speaking in front of the whiteboard. And then I did a screenshot. So however you do a screenshot on your computer, for me, I have to hit the function key and the F12, but on my laptop at home, I just have to hit the screenshot button, and then paste that into Paint or whatever picture editing program you have, and then select it and save it as a JPEG in a folder that you can find, and you'll be able to upload anything that you want to use as a background. So if you think about it, for your students with hearing impairment, or maybe second language learners, or anybody who's learning some vocabulary, you could do just a plain old Google Doc or a Word document and put the vocabulary words that you're working on down the side of your paper, and have that in sight while you're doing your lesson, even gesture to it or highlight it in different ways. So think about that as far as using it as a supplemental tool while you're doing your both synchronous and asynchronous lessons.